Okay, so week 7. Um, yeah, week 7. I can't believe it's already week 7 out of 24. I feel like these weeks are going by super quick. But I know I still got a long way to go before that 24 weeks is up, and that's when the show day is at. And so for this week's topic, I'm discussing about plateaus because that's what I've been going through for this past week. So, and it's kind of frustrating. So, and we discuss about how to break through your plateaus and what to look for and how to identify your plateau. Like, are you plateauing in your nutrition? Are you plateauing in your workouts? Maybe you're plateauing in just having motivation as well. So we'll talk about different topics of plateau and how you could adjust and how you could break through that plateau so you could continue seeing some type of progression, whether it be in your workouts, in your nutrition, in your weight loss, your fat loss. So let's talk about just plateaus in general for today's topic. But week 7 was it's getting tough. It's getting tough. That's one thing I gotta say. It's getting tough, especially in the workouts. Damn, these like strength training workouts, these 5x5s are getting super tough, and I know I need to probably just drop my ego at the door when it comes to these heavier lifts, because my body weight is dropping and my ego wants to just try to stay at that weight and do it for a 5x5. But I know I need to drop the weight because my form is breaking down and I don't want to injure myself. That's the last thing you want to do, especially since I'm paying all this money to prepare for this bodybuilding show, right? So last thing I want to do is injure myself and stop me from competing, right? So sometimes you gotta just drop the ego at the door and just say, hey, forget it, I'm just gonna drop the weight a little bit, and I'd rather have good form and make sure my technique is there with all my lifts. With that being said, this is your disclaimer once again for my posing update. This week's posing I actually did it at nighttime. I didn't have time to do it in the morning. I had to be out early in the morning. So this is a routine I did at night, which is my posing routine, and to be honest, I think this is my worst one. Alright, so I'll see you guys after this, and we're going to talk about plateaus. Okay, so this is the posing update for this week. Like I said, I think this is the worst one. It's because I just had pretty much finished eating all my food for the day, and then I went straight into posing afterwards. For this day, I didn't want to do it tomorrow because it wouldn't have been consistent with what I've been doing. But like I said, this is the worst one, and it's really because I feel like it's super bloated in this posing routine. Like, you could just tell from the side views. Like, remember those videos I said I had a hard time keeping that stomach in? Like, this is even worse. But just to show you like how your body could look after you finish eating during the day and how it looks in the morning. So actually, I'm glad I did this posing at night, just to show the difference between how my body looks from day and night. As you can see, I look a lot fuller, so my muscles looks a lot bigger, but because I'm still at a high body fat percentage, it is not good because of that stomach, and it's just hard to keep that in. But like, whenever people do bodybuilding shows, for those you don't understand, people do their pumps, so they do their like push-ups, they do their resistance band, they lift some weights actually before they go on stage, and they have some food in them, so their muscles inflate. So your muscles and your body do change all the time. So if you're worrying about like, hey, why is my weight dropping, or why is my weight fluctuating, that's the reason why. It's because of water intake, it's because of food intake. So the way you look always changes, depending on the time of the day, depending if you have a tan, right? I don't have any tan. Also depending on other factors as well. So stop worrying too much about how you look, because it's constantly changing. Not just the weight, but even physical appearance of how your muscles look are constantly changing. But overall, good week. But like I said, these lifts are getting super hard for me. Getting better at the poses though. I'm getting better at just knowing how to position myself with the feet. Before, I was just like
all over the place in terms of where I should put my feet, how I should turn, but getting comfortable with that. Now it's just me being able to work on the breathing. Like I said last week and the week before, the breathing is probably the toughest part. And I just realized that, see these tricep poses? I'm supposed to pull back and really show my whole body. And I'm kind of leaning forward. My coach told me I've been doing it wrong the whole time, so I got to fix that up for next week. But overall, I'm very pleased with the progress. Time to break that plateau, because I'm in a plateau right now. So hopefully this next week I'll be able to break this plateau. So see you guys next week for posing.
Okay, so let's talk about plateaus. Why are you plateauing? How can you break through your plateaus, and how to recognize that you're plateauing? Okay, so there's a lot of reasons why you may be plateauing, and it may not be your fault. So don't worry about it too much, or it may be your fault. So maybe you have to make some changes. But first things first, you always have to identify what you're plateauing. I feel like a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm plateauing, or like, I'm not seeing any progress. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, you're always gonna see some type of progress, right? Whether you're feeling better, whether you're sleeping better, whether you're lifting more weights, whether you're losing weight. Like, there's so many reasons for progression that you shouldn't really be plateauing unless it's a specific thing that you're plateauing in and you're worried about not breaking that plateau. So for example, for someone who's not losing weight, right, their plateau might be that they're not seeing the scale go down, and they feel like if the scale's not going down, I'm not making any progress. So for those people, if you're plateauing, first things first, don't change anything you're doing and give it another week, and be as consistent as you can the next week that you're giving it, because maybe you weren't consistent this previous week. That's the reason why the scale hasn't gone down. And maybe you're telling yourself you're being consistent, or you're telling yourself that you're hitting all your calories and you're consistent. You haven't really gone out to eat or cheated on your nutrition, your diets. I wouldn't like to say cheat, but like, I guess, indulge and overeat on some foods, and just give it another week. That's what I recommend. For a lot of people, they see like they're plateauing right away, they will say like, hey, you know what, carbs are evil. You don't want to do that, especially for when it comes to nutrition. I feel like drastic cuts can be negative. We don't want to cut out all your foods, but some of your foods being cut out can be helpful in order for you to break that plateau. I've been doing the same thing over and over for the past year or the past 6 months, and you haven't even changed maybe the rep scheme at all. You know, you haven't been tracking your workouts at all, and that's why you're plateauing, and you don't see any changes to your physical appearance and also your performance as well. So first, ask yourself, are you really tracking everything that you're lifting? Are you tracking how much weight you're lifting, how many reps you're doing, how many sets you're doing? And then take a look at if you're doing the same exact exercise all the time. If you're a beginner, this shouldn't be an issue for you, but if you're a more advanced individual, yeah, you're gonna see some type of plateau. Or your recovery, right? Are you sleeping enough? And are you actually getting the right amount of sleep appropriate for your body in order to feel like you have the best energy you can to do and perform your workouts? So that's another factor that could be involved when it comes to plateauing for your workouts. A lot of times people tend to just neglect that. They say, oh yeah, I sleep enough. Yeah, I sleep like 4 hours. Yeah, that's sleep enough. Yeah, but sleep is so important. That's where you recover. That's where you build your muscle. Like, the gym is gonna help us create that stimulus to tell us our body that we need to recover. But if we don't actually take the proper time out of our day or really consider recovery, we're not gonna do it, right? So make sure you're sleeping enough. That's very important to break those plateaus when you're not lifting the weight that you need to lift. So recovery, right? We train hard, but we should recover even harder, right? But if you're not training hard, train hard first, right? Then work on that recovery. Mindset or like motivation plateau, right? We plateau because we stop having motivation to go to the gym anymore. Like, we don't want to even be in the gym because it's doing the same thing over and over, or that's the reason why you might be plateauing, right? To be honest, your workouts might be boring you, and you just don't feel motivated to go to the gym. Don't rely too much on motivation. Like, yeah, it's great. It's gonna get you fired up, pumped up to go to the gym, but we're not gonna have it every single day. Like, there's times where I'm a trainer, and there's times that I don't want to be there. I don't want to be at the gym, but it's because of discipline and it's because of consistency is the reason why I consistently could show up to the gym, right? And that takes time to build. Don't rely too much on motivation. Rely on consistency. Hope that was helpful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those 3 parts I did in terms of how to just break through your plateaus for nutrition, your workouts, and your mindset. All right, so if you have any questions or you have any topics you'd like me to discuss from week to week on these documentation series I'm doing, subscribe if you haven't, because I want to make sure you're notified. As well, you can click the bell button to make sure you get the notification whenever I upload these new videos. And yeah, that's it. And if you want to follow me most actively on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram. I do a post every single day, maybe 2 posts a day, and I do a lot of stuff on my Insta stories to help with fitness advice, nutrition advice. So hope that was helpful.